I'm Big J. Okerson.
And I'm Dan Soder.
You can listen to full 2-hour-long episodes of The Bonfire. 2 hours. That's a real commitment to us. Well, it's on SiriusXM or with the SXM app. It's easy. Just go to SiriusXM.com/bonfire for a special offer.
And now, The Bonfire with Big J. Okerson and Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very funny.
Is he making fun of her?
Kind of.
To her face?
But he's like asking, like, you know, he does that with people he interviews, whether it be like her or Hasbullah, a little guy.
Has everything been lit since you've gotten famous?
Everything's lit, dude. I'm lit.
Is everything mad lit?
I'm lit, right?
Mad lit. It's Bonfire, Faction Talk, Series XM 103. Can we go back to that clip? I want you to hear where he says he's never been with a woman. It makes me laugh.
We're talking about Nick Fuentes, BFF of Kanye West's. He's been showing up on podcasts with him. Man, imagine being in like you're Jay-Z and you go to talk to Kanye and this kid's there. You're like, Kanye, you got to get on your meds. And this kid's like, well, actually.
Hey, Jay-Z, get out in the field.
Yeah, you're like, whoa, what?
Have you been in a relationship with a woman?
No.
So how are you telling other people how to behave towards women when you yourself have not had any actual physical, interaction with them in a romantic capacity, or in fact in any capacity where you uphold them in a way that treats them with respect? I mean, if you're out here arguing that women are basically half the value of, well, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, in fact, because that's not right. Mm-hmm. But if you are looking to some other regimes around the world that do think that women are half the value of a man, I have to question what kind of a person who's had no experience with women is in a position to basically promote these ideas.
Well, I'm having an experience with a woman right now, and I've had lots of experiences with women in my life, not romantically per se, but I've talked to enough women. I've been in, I've known enough women to know sort of what's going on. And I think any man who is observant enough, and honestly, like I said, we could go back to great geniuses. We could go back to people that have been.
This is a guy who's still probably I don't know what his background is, but like if his father's just this kind of guy. And says the kind of stuff, you know what I mean? He's just like blindly following someone. He's never even like hooked up with a chick before. He's 22.
I've smelled a lot of hair. I've felt warm toilet seats as I've hid strategically in the bathroom.
I smelled my aunt's underwear in the laundry.
One time my mother threw her brassiere on the floor and I scooped it up.
He's like if Leave It to Beaver was a white supremacist.
Yeah.
It's like this.
Well, gee,
how
Wally.
he comes off.
Well, gee, Wally,
like Butch Patrick, they're white supremacists.
It's like, gee, Wally, they're only 3/5 of what we are.
Hey, why is the help talking to me, Dad?
Yeah. He's the only guy that would, in that old Mean Joe Green one, he throws the jersey back at him. Don't talk to me. Yeah, this guy, usually like white supremacists are like, bearded men with guns and shit, and they're like, fucking.
No, oftentimes now they're like suit and tie guys.
Now they
like,
are. That's what I'm saying.
Else.
That's nouveau.
But if they're nothing else, though, they're adults for sure.
They've busted a nut in a lady.
Like, how is this guy getting traction in that world? I mean, that's crazy. A 22-year-old?
22-year-old who hasn't fucked. And people are like, this is the guy. How did he get linked up with Kanye? How did Kanye?
May have something to do with that, because isn't Kanye's big thing? What's one of his also like little side projects is saying porn's destroying everything?
I don't know. That's
right.
Me. Sorry,
that's the big thing he has. Although I will say this, and this is going to sound weird probably to people who like know my comedy, but I was watching the SNL from Saturday last night.
Saturday Night Live.
And like I get a little bummed out. Like they have a lot of like leeway now.
What do you mean?
And it's like there's a lot of like that instead of like great characters or long, like recurring characters. There's like they can really like. There's so much dirty stuff on the show now.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean, like they try to get away. What was the other thing? Like they kept saying P word for pussy on something, but they kept saying it. Sarah Sherman, who I think is really funny, by the way, did a thing about, because they're introducing another wacky situation. They're introducing apparently a gay couple, female polar bears,
For
on
Coke?
On Peppa Pig.
Oh, Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig cartoon's going to have a gay lesbian couple polar bears.
They just are not fun to hang out with, and they only talk about New York Liberty basketball. They're just like, oh, hey, get out of here. Sorry, we're lesbo bears.
Sorry, guys.
Your loud, straight male friend really upsets me.
We're going to go ground each other's statues. What's that?
They're just growling at nothing. That's just lesbian bears. They're just like,
but anyway, the beginning of the joke is that she thinks it's like two guy bears.
yeah.
And like, and she has like two pictures, and one's got like, it's like a stick figure bear basically with like a wiener, and the other one, she's doing a thing where it's like hitting the other one like in the butt with it. And
Yeah.
it's fun. It's not funny. I'm not even arguing that the humor's there. I'm almost like let down a bit by like, oh, I thought like the one world was supposed to be the one world and the other was, you had to go like, it's still like when I hear on basic cable now they can say fuck and motherfucker and all kinds of shit. Oh, like AMC shows?
I thought they could say shit and ass. I didn't realize that they got to fuck.
Yeah.
Basic cables, if you want to. I mean, I don't know what the thing is or what the rule is ultimately, but they get, all those like FX nonstop cursing. And it's fine. I don't care. I'm not offended by it anyway. I'm just like the breakdown of like, well, what's the good? You know what I mean? If this is like the underground kind of dirty stuff, what's the good stuff now? Like they're taking all the good stuff's getting perverted in its own way, which is weird. I kind of like rely on SNL to be like,
you guys got to be clean.
Funny, edgy. Do you know what I mean? Like edgy humor for sure, quote unquote. I hate that term, but you know what I mean? Like, but it's gone to, like I said, it's almost like like they have full sketches about like Drake and shit. You know what I mean? That was on this week that like, I don't I'm not getting it.
Are we just
Like,
old?
Absolutely. But I think the humor of now I will say this. I think the earliest of SNLs are corny.
Yeah. Like 75 to 80.
That does nothing for me. I jumped in where I really was like, this is great. For me was around the Dana Carvey,
same.
Phil Hartman, all that era, and it was great. And it was like wholesome's the wrong word, like Head Wound Harry and shit like that.
Loved Head Wound Harry. Loved
me too.
Hanukkah
Harry used to make me laugh.
Hanukkah Harry was great. The church lady ones were all sexual innuendos. They never like said the thing, but they always referenced sex in a way that was like, but Sprockets, fucking, they had a lot of weird
Wayne's World,
shit.
Obviously. Church lady, and it was like, it was. I said it was like, at the time it was edgy. So yeah, but it might be age where like, the subject matter. But I mean, the show's like, there's a hip hop song parody every episode now. Yeah,
that was kind of Pete's specialty before he left. He'd always be in the rap video.
Right now it's like,
because remember when Lazy
Crew's in the rap video,
when Lonely Island did Lazy Sunday, that was like. They had never done that. And then it was like, they'd do it once every like 5 or 6 weeks. And then you're right. Now every episode is fucking.
Yeah, every episode's got that.
But I want to know, who hooked Nick Fuentes up with Kanye West? Who's the guy? Who's the guy that's like, hey, multi-platinum artist, virgin 22-year-old that's a white supremacist.
It is great though, Alex Jones having to be there going like, all right, I don't know, Hitler's
kind of
bad guy.
He's kind of bad. I mean, Sandy Hook didn't happen.
He's like, I love the Nazis. He's like, love, strong word.
I think you're in heavy like with them, but right now, I don't think you really know what they're doing.
Yeah, it was funny to see Alex Jones be like the voice of reason a bit.
Yeah, him being the cool, collected one. When he sweats and takes his shirt off.
With Kanye wearing the mask over his face for the whole interview. It's like, how do you take that seriously?
Yeah, dude. If we should do that. We should do a whole episode dressed like Kanye where we just hide our faces.
Just Green Man costumes?
Yeah. Just the whole time. I'd be like, I got a hole in my mouth. Oh, it's very hard to breathe. Oh, it's very hard to breathe in this thing. Oh.
One of my favorite images, I still have it on my phone, is what Christine wore a veil for the Jan Michael Vincent funeral.
Oh, yeah.
I still love that photo.
Oh, all right. R.I.P. Airwolf. Gone, but not forgotten.
Didn't the people die since we've been gone? Feels people died since we left.
Since you left New York?
Yeah. Since Wednesday? No? No one died this weekend?
No one of notoriety that I can remember.
Bob from Sesame Street.
Oh.
No!
Oh.
Who? Which one was he?
He was in his 90s. I don't know.
Oh, it's fine.
The white guy.
That's vague. Why is everything another color with you?
Well, there's a lot of different people on Sesame
You've been
Street.
listening to Witzke, you've been listening to too much Fuentes.
Is there like is there something of him being like racist? They say white supremacist. Why
Oh, I'm sure there are a ton of videos. Someone on Twitter put up a video of him dropping the N-bomb, and he goes, well, that slipped out.
He said it slipped out?
Yeah. He like said it, and he goes,
shut up.
About the votes, and he goes, well, you're going to get the votes. And he goes, well, that slipped out.
No.
Promise.
I mean, again, it's almost my point. How do you take that seriously? It's like there's something so much like larger of a problem there.
Oopsie poopsie. Didn't mean to say
What a
that.
wiener. Oh, Dunkaroo, dipsy-doo.
Negro.
So Nick Fuentes, Kanye West's white supremacist associate, is filmed hurling a soda cup at customers inside an In-N-Out burger.
Okay.
All right.
Love it.
Live it. Love it. Here he is.
Let's see.
Oh, it's black and these black dudes are having to hold themselves back.
Yo. I believe he's a white supremacist just for having and crazy just for doing that, what he just did right there.
He did it like he thought it was going to be cool.
That's a crazy thing to do for this little wiener.
Yeah. Man, what if he can fight? What if he can just...
Before this goes viral...
All right, stop yelling.
Yo, Sneeko, what up?
Yeah, what up, Sneeko?
Guy's name is Sneeko. No, let's hear what Sneeko has to say about this.
Sneeko?
That was over the Twitter, yeah.
Your
Go
thoughts?
back to that video.
Sneeko, your thoughts?
Sneeko, break this down for us. Make this make sense to me.
Sneeko, let it loose. Let this thing rip.
So I know this is going to look bad on Nick Fuentes. You could see him throwing a Sprite in the In-N-Out. But if you look at the ceiling right here, you see there's ketchup all over. That's because some lady and her husband came up to us, flipped us off, and then threw the ketchup all over me and Nick, mostly Nick. I just wiped it out of my hoodie. And he retaliated with the Sprite. That's actually what happened. We were attacked first, and we told them to go away. They went away.
Oh, this is Nick Fuentes' boy.
I thought this was the guy who was going to be against
but that's
him.
the truth. And
it's a Hispanic kid.
Damn, dude. They're like, Nick, you fucking crazy, bro. you love these white people too much.
What does white supremacist mean?
I don't know, dude.
Glebe said it too. He's talking about Kanye, and he's saying preaching white supremacy, and I'm just like, it feels like white supremacy should be called something different if you can be a white supremacist if you're not white. Like, doesn't it feel like,
or if you get along with black people,
branded as like, I don't know, like.
He goes, I'm sorry to tell you, if you like Kanye West, you're not a white supremacist. If you're friends with him, you're not a white supremacist.
You're not down with him. Dude, this fucking guy, his voice
is the most bummer thing of like the I have black friends is the excuse for you not being racist. And you're like, yes, it is the reason. Like, that is the actual excuse reason why.
Yeah. I mean, this guy is a white supremacist, but it looks like he hangs out with people of other colors.
His best friend is a black guy.
It looks like this guy's just anti-Semitic.
He seems
I get so scared
such a
of the
weenus.
terms just because the way that they've been used on skanks, that whenever anybody's called a Nazi or a white supremacist, I'm immediately like, I am immediately like, what are they saying?
Looks like that old Gomez last name golden ticket don't work no more. So
it's over, dude.
Welcome,
Louis J. Gomez, the Nazi sympathizing or whatever, the racist.
Yeah,
that article was the best.
Well, Nick Fuentes is a dork. We'll find more videos of him being a dork. We didn't watch that Trevor Wallace comedy.
I think there's a video. I think it was him because I saw a video of a guy talking where he says that he's actually less gay for being a virgin than a man who has sex with a woman. Now that I'm like looking at him, I go, I'm sure it was him. It had to be. So I'm going to try to find that video.
He's saying he's
that.
less gay because he's never been with a woman. That is Jedi level of trying to fucking turn shit around. That is insane. He goes, actually a pussy on your dick is probably the gayest thing you can do. A pussy pulling cum out of your penis. Very gay.
Fucking a chick? Gay.
Dude, if I'm Nick Fuentes and I'm like talking all this shit, you better be worried about the first woman you hook up with. They might just wait and roll you.
Yeah, a lot of people think I'm gay for fucking Christine. That's just her voice.
I went, Jay.
Oh, yeah, give it to me. Wow me.
Oh, really? Fuck me.
It's exactly how I sound in bed.
Mama's gonna lay an egg. Mama's gonna lay an egg.
Oh, it's about to happen. Oh, it's happening.
Take me there. Take me there. Try to hold me down, you pussy.
Open up for it.
Lava soap you're about to make me come.
Oh, that was good. I'm gonna go take a dump.
Oh, I gotta scratch my balls.
All right, I'm gonna go air it out in the bathroom for a minute.
Oh, you got pussy juice all over my balls.
Why am I turned on and I'm not wet?
I'm gonna go try to queef out some of this lube.
Oh, hey, you really shot a floogie in there, S.A.
Floogie.
You're really fucking spitting me there, you fucking camel.
That was a real longer.
You really hawk backed and fired that one in me. Should we watch Trevor Wallace's comedy so you can write some roast jokes?
Dripping out down my leg.
Roast jokes.
Roast jokes. Yeah, guys, give me some Trevor Wallace.
Jacob's hacking into the system. Do you like that camera angle he is?
Jacob, stop typing.
I have a cool story about how they lost their virginity. Oh! Was it while they were filming the Titanic? What the fuck happened? You're like, no, Jack, and you're like, let him go. Oh no, step bro, I'm stuck in the glacier. Okay, as a guy, that's gonna be the worst place to fuck ever. It is so cold. Oh, it's usually so much bigger than this. We're just in the Arctic right now, and you sure you don't want to like fucking Arizona or something?
Jacob loves it.
You said Alaskan men are pretty hung?
Sorry, I thought somebody said something.
No. They said Jacob loves this shit. I said Jacob can't get enough. It's cool guy. It's cool guy energy, Jay.
Pure energy.
You're gonna have to outcool him.
I love all of it. Well, why? Who is this?
This is for the roast.
He's hosting the roast.
He's hosting the roast of Bert Kreischer.
Oh.
Are him and Bert close friends?
I don't know.
Nothing makes sense in L.A.
Nothing makes sense. Bert's closest friends aren't on this.
Segura's not on it?
No, Joey Diaz not on it.
Rogan?
No.
Ari?
No.
Who is on?
Jay?
Doesn't make any sense. It's all over the place. Me,
Hinchcliffe,
Trevor Wallace, Hinchcliffe, Rachel Feinstein, Whitney Cummings, and Bert, obviously.
Bert goes, so this roast is people that I call twice. It's like, it's not the call. It's not the first call. It's like, I call them, they call me back roast. This is just, dude, just make fun of that.
That's probably what I'll riff on is that none of his actual friends are here.
Yeah, dude. This is clearly, and it's on OnlyFans, right?
Yeah. I want to point out that the last few times I've seen, Joey Diaz and him interact, it's been Joey Diaz just leaving him constantly. Joey Diaz constantly leaving him.
That, you should dose him, Ferrari. Just get one in. Just get in.
Time looks like she's taking a shit.
Dude, I saw something wild going to Houston, which, by the way, so much fun, man. A lot of people did the Houston and Austin, the whole Texas tour of the Bonfire.
We got to gather those pictures up and send them a T-shirt.
Yeah, we got to get some stuff. So, Black Lou, we got some addresses for you and some names we got to give because there was a lot of people that were coming out to both shows.
Barry Fennell, I think Mario. I think his name.
Yeah, I didn't get to see Barry because in between shows at the
tattoos.
In between Houston improv shows, you've been to that club. It's kind of tough to go out there and talk without shit getting crazy because it's like the next show's seating and the old show's leaving, and it's like if you go in there. But I did after the late shows, got to meet a bunch of campers. It was fucking fun, dude. Houston Improv is a massive room that usually stinks, and that room fucking rules. It is a great room. Like seeing it, I was like, dude, this is gonna suck, and it was fucking great. But dude,
New Cap City for the first time is very nice.
Oh yeah, the new Cap City. How was it?
It's so funny going from like it was in like the most like seediest, creepiest mall, like strip mall ever.
Yeah.
The other one was like by like a Chinese buffet and a hand job place.
Yeah.
Like right next to it. To now it's in like it's next to like like a Kendra Scott and a Louis Vuitton store and Lululemon. It's like a high end.
Oh really?
Domain.
They moved it to the
domain.
nice.
It's a high end strip mall that has actually apartments above it, which is kind of funny.
Oh, that's crazy.
But the hotel's in that mall.
Oh, that's fun. So you can just walk right to it.
It's 2 minutes of a walk, yeah.
Yeah, because they used to put you up in that Holiday Inn that was down the highway, and you had to fucking be like, "How am I getting to the show?"
And it was just on that. It was on that creepy like road, like dark.
The business center
thing
behind it, and you're like, "Am I gonna die?" Flying to Houston, I'm in line. TSA pre-check. Older couple in front of me. They have backpacks, suitcases, and jackets. They get to the conveyor belt where you push it through the screening machine.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even get a third of the way to the screening machine. They just put their stuff up on the belt and then go through the metal detector. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm the one behind them. I'm like, what the fuck? There's a giant gap between where their stuff is and the machine or whatever. And I looked at the TSA.
It's just like it's on you.
Yeah.
To move it forward.
Yeah. And I looked at the TSA lady and she goes, fuck that, go around them. And I took my stuff and I put it in the machine and then I went through and I was waiting for it. And the lady was like, well, I guess this guy just went and cut us. And I went, no, you didn't push your stuff through. That's wild that you just left it there. Like I go, lady, that is crazy you did that. And she goes, I do that every time. And I was like, then you've never flown before. You've never gotten your stuff through security. Because they just left it there. And they were like, oh, someone will push it through for us. It was fucking wild. And then she acted like I was crazy. She was like, oh, this fucking asshole cutting us.
Yeah, the airports are back. And they're back as bad as ever. Ralph told me a story on SDR show last week that it still makes me furious on his behalf. He was coming home from Portugal.
Yeah. Just banging those fucking otherworldly sluts.
The geese.
Just going.
Some of the geese out there.
Just going down to the port, getting Portuguese Hunani.
Getting geezed. But he was coming back on his flight. He sat in his seat and he heard them like page his name.
Yeah.
And he went up to them and he was like, yes, whatever. And they go, yeah, is there a reason like you have to put your suitcase in one of the upper things, whatever they're called.
Yeah, overhead bins.
Overhead bins. And he's like, yeah, you got to put it. And he's like, oh, and he was on the floor, like it was in the middle of the aisle, his bag. And he was like, I had it up in this bin. And there was like an older guy in the seat. He goes, that's my bin above my head. So yeah, I took it out, and there was also he took a couple people's things out. It turns out ultimately, and Ralph said the other guy was arguing with him a bunch, but Ralph that he just more kind of like laughed it off and whatever. Which Ralph did probably do the right thing, but I was like, he kept saying like, how do you think Lewis would have handled that? And I had to say probably like I would have. Like, because he was like, you don't think Luis J. Gomez would have like lost his mind on that? I was like, yeah, but so would I have.
Yeah, dude.
I absolutely would have been. I would have been in a thing with that guy.
And
if they were like going to escort me off the plane for it, I'd make even a bigger stink because I'd go, that's fucking crazy. Like this guy should be taken off the plane or so. That's why. That's a very aggressive move. Just dump someone's luggage.
Yeah, to take someone else's stuff and move it out of an overhead bin is that's a war move. You're ready to go to war. If you're doing that,
I move things over, and that's whatever. If you move things over, that's fine.
One time there was a guy. It was really the only space was the entire thing above him, right? And on both sides they were full. And I put mine on the left side, and I was like a row or two back beyond that, whatever. And this guy goes, that's only for this row. And I went, no, it's not. It's for first class.
Yeah.
You can put it in there. And he goes, it's for this row. And so I took it out and I moved it and I go, is that okay? Are you feeling okay that I moved it? And he was so mad that I was giving him baby voice that throughout the flight, he kept looking back at me with his wife. And at one point I blew him a kiss and I've never seen a man get angrier. He was like, oh, I went like that, and he was like, oh, because I was like, fuck. When I pulled my suitcase, I did call him a fucking dork. I pulled my suitcase and I go, here, I'll move it, you fucking dork. And he was like, oh, he was like a 55-year-old white guy. He was just like, oh, I used to be so cool.
I would have said it's up there, and if you touch it or if you pull it out of there, I'm gonna open hand slap you on a plane.
That would have been cool. That would have been way cooler.
I think
it's fucking crazy. I've been watching this Shaq documentary thing on HBO Max. I didn't know that Shaq open hand slap knocked out Greg Ostertag in a locker room once.
I didn't know that either. From the Utah Jazz.
Pretty great documentary. Yeah.
It's pretty much the last.
I also forgot that him and Charles Barkley had a major fight once, and they worked together every day on TNT.
Ever since they did the Jordan The Last Dance, they've just been going back through that era and then following like major basketball stars, and they're like, "Can we do another Last Dance?" Because they tried it with Jeter, called Captain. And it just ate shit. It was like they tried it with Montana.
The Shaq one's a 4-part. It's great. Shaq one's been great.
No, I'm going to watch the Shaq one because Shaq is one of my favorite players of all time. He's funny as hell.
You're watching it, Lou?
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was the most interesting part of the Lakers official doc on
the one that didn't make him look bad?
Yeah, on Hulu. Which,
the one where they're
to me is
it's
confirms that the series was accurate and,
it's
and
good. It's a political ad.
Yeah.
Because the one on Hulu, isn't it like, hey, if there's one problem in Laker Nation, it's loving championships too much. It's like, oh, it's not drugs and pussy like it is everywhere else.
Covered.
It's not fucking sex and drugs and power. They're like, nah.
What
were you going to say?
I don't want to get too far off the airplane things. I want to say my airplane thing is I got on the plane feeling like garbage already, right? And I go to just kind of curl up in my seat, go to try to sleep for a little bit or something. Or I was going to watch. So I actually ended up watching Clerks 3. Brutal.
I heard it's a tough watch.
It's a drama. It's like, I don't know, man. It's a drama that once in a while they have Jay and Silent Bob come in and they just have Jay say lines from all the other movies. It's really weird. Weird flick. But as soon as we got on the plane, as soon as they started taxiing, the second they start taxiing, or I'm sorry, as soon as not taxiing, when the stewardesses sat down.
Yeah.
And there's usually about 5-6 minutes or so before you take off.
Yeah.
The lady in front of me, I could see her face when she came in, bitch face, late 20s probably.
Ooh.
Big tits, chubby girl, but seething with confidence.
Yeah, it's the Lizzo era, dude.
She was in the seat in front of me, and she fucking... As soon as we started, the steward sat down, she just cranked her seat all the way back.
Fuck.
So all the way back.
She basically,
you're buried the TV screen just all the way, and it wasn't. Now here's the thing: she does it when we take off and we're moving. Like,
fine.
I still think it's a dick move, but okay, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? It is. They make it so you can do that, but because she did it like then, I just spent the next 15 minutes probably aggressively driving knees and moving that chair all over the place.
Love it.
And then she eventually, when she sat forward, I just she wasn't doing anything, and I go, Miss, is it possible to move the seat up a little bit? Like I'm just tall and it's literally on my knees. And she without saying words, just to her way through moving it up a little bit. But fuck her.
Yeah,
what a crazy move though. But before the plane even takes off, this is how it's going to be all 4 hours.
Yeah. And you can't listen if you're gonna recline the seat, you can recline it a little.
I have to.
Sure. What, Jacob?
I have to warn you all because I think whatever last remnant of civility on a plane is going to be leaving soon, because I think all of them are going to be getting Starlink, which is everyone's going to have Wi-Fi capability on every plane during the flight. So I'm fearful that now you're going to have people FaceTiming for 6 hours straight next to you.
Man, it used to be so great on the subway where you would go underground from Astoria you'd watch everyone's phones get cut off because everyone would be on the phone, and now you can just be on your phone underground. Now that's gone.
Oh, really? It never goes out?
Now it barely goes out, if at all.
But now picture you're sitting next to somebody who
FaceTiming,
they're forced to shut it off when the flight starts, but now they're on the whole time.
Dude, I
gabbing.
I texted you guys this But I don't know if I ever talked about it on the Bonfire. That lady that was watching Kevin Hart's Insta stories and laughing in a way that immediately made me think she was mentally ill. She's like sitting next to me. I forget where I was going. Might have been Cleveland. It was Cleveland. I was flying to Cleveland, and this lady's like, oh,
he done did it again.
Oh my God. And I looked, and it's Kevin Hart's Insta stories. And you're like, those are the most corporate things in the world, because he's like, ha, bam. Okay, now Nissan decided to come on in and help me out with my Chase Capital card. It's never like actually funny. Now he's just a
All right,
advertisement.
Boom, bang, boom.
But she was laughing, and then, dude, I was reading a book, and she kept going, "What are you reading?" And I was like, "Oh, it was just this book." But she kept being like, "Who wrote it?" And I'm like, "I'm not giving you a book report, lady." Finally, she went like, "When I go to concerts, I go a little crazy. I'm going to see my favorite Japanese rock band tonight." And I was like, "Dude, this is fucking wild." Rest of the flight, I just acted asleep. I just put my hat over my eyes, and I was like, "This is fucking crazy." But
There's nothing worse than a zany bitch.
Joe's right. Her laughing at the Kevin Hart Insta stories was the immediate thing where I was like, there's no way they're that funny. Even if they're kind of funny, there's no way they're that funny.
But he's also, I thought he had conquered every medium, but now apparently he does an audible story, like an hour-long like monster story.
Like
I think he has a series, an audio show. It's not a book.
But he does like horror stories. What does he do?
I think it's Kevin Hart's horror stories but yeah, and I think he's the.
Dude,
is nothing
he trolling you, Jay? At this point, is he just doing stuff where he's like, "I'm gonna do, bam! I got a new corn podcast." And you're like, I don't even think, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, I see these audible things. I remember, like when I'd come into the Lincoln Tunnel, there's always I think Audible has a billboard out there, and it'll be like Zachary Quinto and somebody else starring in, but it's an audio book.
Yeah, so it might be like a horror film that they do as a podcast, because I know they're doing that shit.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Kev just like, I mean, he's got bottomless money, dude. And he loves the Jews.
He ain't gonna say, he's for him to bring Kanye on?
Has he chimed in at all? He hasn't chimed in on anything with in regards to. He chimed in on the Chris Rock Will Smith thing is my favorite.
What was it?
This one hurt, y'all. This one hurt because these is brothers. These are friends, man. These are like best friends to me.
I would love if you got like that famous where you were just so phony about it, where you're like, "Oh, Chris Pratt, you my boy, man. Why'd you have to go and do that?" Instead of just making fun of whatever they do, you're like, "Oh man, it hurts."
Dude, it is the funniest. Having a new famous best friend is one of the funniest things in the world.
You gotta understand, he's different now.
Well, it's the Audible originals.
It's like I'm gonna go call Marty real quick. You're like, who? Like Martin Sheen. He's gonna call him real quick.
Oh, cool. You know, Bobby.
Marty would actually laugh if I said that to him.
Bobby and I got lunch yesterday. Robert De Niro.
Yeah. He goes, "Oh yeah," because I'm gonna tell Bobby that when I see him. I told you that's with Keith Robinson. While I thought he was full of shit the first time I met him, because I forget just naming comics, and I remember something about Jim Brewer. I said he's like, Jimmy stink. He's busting balls.
Yeah.
He's like, Jimmy stinks. I'm gonna tell Colin Quinn next time I see Colin Quinn, I'm gonna punch him in his face. And you're like, okay,
sure, you
don't know any of these people at all.
Yeah, I bet people.
You knew all of them.
I mean, it's funny because we've been doing this show 7.5 years, and Pete's never been on, and we've talked about him ad nauseum. And it's funny that he's never been like, "Oh, come by the Bonfire." It's like
I've never been garried by a friend so much. It's
pretty impressive.
He said he was going to come on the show probably over a dozen times.
Every time I see him. He's like,
when he was at SNL, he was like, "Well, I'm right across the street. Can I come over from SNL?"
And he'll
anytime you want.
He would even say shit like, "Well, now there's no excuses. I'm just right across the street." Yeah. I mean, that right there is the move where you're like, how did we fall for it so many times? Do you remember when we found out that he would text us the same thing? Where he'd be like, "Is everyone mad at me?" And then he would text Jay, "Is everyone mad at me?" And then you're like, "Damn, that's
Who's mad at me?
That's like a stripper running game, dude."
Who's mad at me?
It's like, "Are you mad at me? You don't ever talk to me anymore. Someone's mad at me."
Who's mad at me?
You can listen to the Audible originals. Kevin Hart reads Monsters and How to Tame Them. That's it.
Is that a kid's book?
I don't know.
Probably right.
But it's
getting that kid book money.
He goes, "All right, now, bam. I'm opening the book. All right, boom.
Now the monster's hungry.
First line.
Oh. Monster loves to eat children. Bam.
This little girl. All right, I'm looking at the drawing. Look, she's a black girl, and she got pigtails. Okay, oh, bam. Now, next, Monster comes out. Monster lives under the bed. Oh shit.
Let's take our last break, so I can go take a little sis. Thanks for listening. Don't forget that the Bonfire's a radio show, a full show. We got a studio and everything. You can listen to us on SiriusXM or on the SXM app. It's basically the same thing. Go to SiriusXM.com/bonfire for a special offer.